Hi, and welcome to Bow Live, Brokers, Opens, and Tours Worldwide. We're here with Florida Closing and Escrow, #1 title company in South Florida, with a 5-star rating by the Better Business Bureau, and with John Iowanu, real estate attorney, who was just selected as one of the top 50 attorneys in America. So, yay, congratulations, John.
Thank you.
Here's to here's to your success and helping agents and buyers and sellers with their closing success. And Florida Closing and Escrow's main office is in Sunny Isles. It has other locations as well. It's mobile, paperless, wireless, and remote, and multilingual, with an expert team of attorneys and professionals to help you through the closing process from contract to closing. And in the office, it can even be curbside, out of state, out of country, local, foreign national, residential, commercial. And we help you with your contracts review, contract addendums, contract drafting, and more. And today's topic is the closing process and how to be successful with it and how to expedite it. And you can let us know if you have any questions. And then at the end, I'll do a brief market and marketing update. So, John, welcome. And if you'd like to begin.
Yeah, thanks, Cindy. I'm going to share my screen because there's a flow chart that I'd like to go over and have everyone see as well. So I'm going to share the screen here and pick that and share. Okay. Let me know if you can see the flow chart. Cindy, can you
Yes,
see it?
I
Okay.
see the flow chart.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is the steps of the closing process and really how to expedite certain areas to make sure that we get to closing in a timely and efficient manner. Most of you know this, but for any beginning realtors, we'll go over it. This flow chart is available. If you'd like to email Cindy or myself, we can send it to you. So the process starts obviously on the left-hand side with the real estate agent yourself. You'll have obviously a client. If you're representing a buyer, you'll submit an offer to the listing agent. What I recommend here to make sure everything goes smoothly is before you submit it to the listing agent, if you can, send it to me or Anthony, the other attorney in our office, to review the contract, just to make sure all the check boxes that are supposed to be checked are checked, and also to make sure that we've added that additional language at the end of the contract in the additional terms section regarding open, needed, or expired permits, because that's a big issue. Okay, so once that's done, if we give the okay and seller signs it, then you have a fully executed contract, which is great. So at that point, you would send a copy to us, the title company. And if there is a loan that the buyer is going to get, you also have to send it to the mortgage company. You'll see the mortgage company title agent players on the right-hand side. But let's continue with the left-hand side under the real estate agent form side. Okay, so once the contract is fully executed, you as a real estate agent have a couple things to do as well, or at least to advise your client on what to do. Number one is the inspection. Make sure that in the contract you do have a right to inspect section checked off. If it's blank, it's 15 days. Sometimes I've seen them revised to 10 or 7, 5 or 3. I know during the crazy time that has passed, there were parts of sellers were saying no inspection period, but that has passed. It's now no longer a fully one-sided seller's market. It's starting to balance a little bit, so we can put back that contingency in the contract. I would suggest no less than 5 days. Inspectors nowadays are busy, so make sure to put at least 5, 7. If you leave it blank, 15 is great. So make sure you give at least a couple referrals to the buyer. You don't want to lock them in with just one. If you have a couple inspectors that you use, give those to your buyer and say, choose one that you like, and have them follow up on that. After the inspection comes back, during the inspection period, if there are issues, you need to negotiate with the seller if they want to repair those or if they want to give a credit. Depending on which one they want to do, you'd have to prepare an addendum stating whatever the agreement is and make sure it's signed by both parties before the end of the inspection period. Once the inspection period is over, you no longer have that leverage, and the seller does not have to sign any addendum, and it'd be the responsibility of the buyer to make those repairs and pay for them. So make sure that's done before the inspection period is over. If they do the repairs, make sure to do a re-inspection to make sure that it was done correctly. And then if your brokerage is holding the deposit, make sure to transfer that over to us as the title company. There are choices here. If your broker is holding it, you can withhold your commission from that amount and send us the rest. Or you can have your brokerage send us the full amount, and then we'll send back the commission to the broker. And then finally, on the left-hand side on the real estate agent is arrange a final walkthrough. This is very important. Don't skip this step. The contract allows the buyer to do a walkthrough the day before or the day of closing. I recommend doing it in the morning of the closing date and then coming to our office to sign documents in the afternoon. Don't skip this one. I know some buyers say, no, I don't need to do a final walkthrough. I know what I'm getting. It's very dangerous to do that, very risky, because if there are appliances in there or if there's any damage that was done, after all the documents are signed, sometimes these sellers can be foreigners. They'll get on a plane and they're out of here. So you won't hear from them ever again. So make sure to do a final walkthrough. If your buyers are out of town, maybe do a FaceTime video or send them a video. Make sure to get their approval, because if something's missing when they do arrive, they're going to blame you. So you want to make sure that that walkthrough is done. Okay, so now we'll go to the right-hand side of the chart. Once the contract is received by the mortgage company, they're going to do their things. Make sure the buyer has submitted their loan application to the lender. The other contingency in the contract is under that loan contingency period. If it's blank, it's 30 days. I recommend, if you can, putting maybe 35, 40, or 45 days. Lenders were quite busy these past couple months, so any additional time you can get for that loan contingency is great. They're going to order the appraisal. That appraisal with the new contract needs to be done during the loan contingency period. So make sure that the lender is on top of that. If they're not ready and they don't have a loan approval or denial during the loan contingency period, it's important for you to follow up with them and make sure that they get it. If not, you're going to need to file or request an extension of that loan contingency period. Because if they get denied after the loan approval contingency period, that part is over. They can no longer cancel and get their deposit back because that contingency has passed. So you have to keep an eye on that date, make sure the lender is responsive. If not, get an extension. And also they might need to obtain homeowners insurance or flood insurance, so make sure the buyer is aware of that. They'll submit all that information to underwriting and they'll get the loan approval. Once they get the loan approval, then the lender will send us the loan documents. Until that comes from the lender, we cannot schedule a time for the borrower or buyers to come by our office. I know sometimes we'll get asked, okay, let's schedule it first thing in the morning. The lender told us, okay, it's going to close on Friday, but we don't have the loan package yet. So it's best not to schedule a time. Don't tell your buyers to come in first thing in the morning, because if the loan package is not with us, there's nothing for them to sign. They're going to be sitting in our office for hours waiting for the package to arrive. So we'll schedule the time with buyers. Most likely it's late morning or early afternoon, but we'll work with them on that. So then we get to the title agent side. So what do we do as a title company? Well, we manage the file and we get everything done and closed. We research everything and we make sure that the buyer gets title free and clear. So what does that entail? Well, we have to do basically three major searches. We do a lien search, we do a title search, and we do an estoppel letter search, basically coming from the association if there is one. The title search lets us know if the owner on the contract or the name on the contract is the actual owner of the property. That's important. So we do a chain of title search going back from when the property was first built. And we want to make sure that that chain is continuous and the proper person selling is the proper owner of the property. Also, if there's any mortgages on the property, we'll find that out during a title search. The lien search, we contact the city and the county to find out if there's any outstanding liens on the property or fines or violations with the city. If there are any of those, we'll follow up with the city, ask for payoffs, and ask them what else needs to be done to clear those issues. And the estoppel will tell us that the association, if the association is owed any money, are they past due on their assessments? And also, are there any fines or violations with the association? If so, we'll get that in writing from them, and we'll put all that information on the HUD to be paid by the seller at time of closing. So as I mentioned, the buyer gets title free and clear. What you can do to expedite this process is when we first get the file, we'll send out a buyer information sheet and or a seller information sheet, along with information sheets for the realtors. This information, if you get it to us as soon as possible, we can process the file quicker. The realtor information sheets are important because that lets us know what your commission is, and also if you have any processing fees. Sometimes those are not included on the contract, so that's why we send out this information sheet. Once we get all that done and the file is ready to close, our closing department will contact all the parties, buyers, sellers, and realtors, and schedule that closing and also the time. Nowadays, not everyone comes to the closing at the same time. So sometimes sellers, if they're represented by an attorney, will close at their attorney's office and overnight the original documents to us. If the buyer is buying with cash, they can sign electronically anywhere in the world. They do not have to attend the closing. We will let them know the exact amount of the wire that they need to send to us. And make sure you explain to them it must be a wire only at time of closing for the cash to close. We cannot accept cashier's checks, regular checks, or even cash. We've been asked a couple of times if we'll accept hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, and no, we definitely cannot. Only a wire at time of closing. Once we get all the proceeds in and once we get all the documents signed, then the keys can be released. So that's the closing process and how to expedite. And if you have any additional questions or comments, our information is here at the bottom of the page. We're here to help you along this entire process to make sure it goes as smoothly as possible.
Okay, thank you, John. And again, congratulations on being selected. It's a great honor for you to be included in the top 50 attorneys in America. And I will commend you for always being available and always going the extra mile for everyone. And even when he's on vacation, he answers the phone and he works 23/7. We let him have an hour break. So again, thank
Thanks
you.
everyone for your assistance. It's a pleasure assisting everyone.
Yes, and we thank all the clients and all the loyal agents who work with us. And I'll give a brief market update now. Miami posted its third best June sales month in history, with much needed single home inventory rising for the second consecutive months. And this is despite higher mortgage rates, lower supply, and higher sales prices. And again, I know most of you know that The interest rates went up for the second time in history, 2 times in a row, 75 basis points. And the demand from individuals and companies is still coming from high tax, high density areas and are at a record high. And this is highlighted by the renowned hedge fund Citadel's recent move from its headquarters to Florida in Miami. And also Sidley Austin, which is a Chicago-based giant with 2,000 attorneys worldwide, $3 billion in annual revenue, now is opening a Miami office in Brickell with a milestone lease, and it's the first new office tower to go up in Miami's downtown in a decade. Another big sale was in Oceania, Bal Harbour. A condo sells for $12 million. In Miami, June sales, total wholesales went down a little bit year over year, 2,891 versus 4,057, but outperformed nearly every June in Miami's history. Demand is coming from individuals and companies from high tax, high density areas. And again, that remains high. And an interesting metric to watch is the inventory as Miami's active listings have come off record breaking lows and are trending up with giving more options to buyers. There's a certain demand from international buyers now. Demographic shifting to a lot of millennial home buyers, senior populations, and still there's a high percentage of workforce that are working remotely. Surging rental prices. Global buyers are actually focusing more on condos. South Florida is the #1 destination. It has better real estate prices than most other similar global cities. Cash buyers represented 43.9% of Miami sales, closed sales in June, versus 40.5% the year before. Miami, Florida, West Palm Beach prices per square meter are $3.70, far below 30 global cities and 13 U.S. metro areas, including Hong Kong, New York City, San Francisco, Oakland Heights, California, Madrid, Spain, Los Angeles, Glendale, California, and Seattle, Tacoma, Bellevue, Washington, per the National Association of Realtors. Per NAR study, international buyers are back. 1 in 4, or 24%, of international buyers chose Florida. Nationwide, they spent $5.9 billion, an increase of 8.5%, as even as single home sales decreased by about 29%. And the majority of them are coming from South America, Mexico, China, and again, nationwide, I would say primarily from California and the Northeast. And activity remains high, even though, as John mentioned, things are balancing out a bit. If you want to comment, John?
Yeah, the interest rates raise definitely put the brakes on this frenzy that we had recently in the past, earlier on in the year. It slowed things down, but not crazy. Buyers did hesitate a little bit to find out exactly how high or what was going to go on with the global economy and the interest rates. We did see an uptick this week on buyers jumping back in. South Florida is going to remain a strong area to invest in for buyers. So the market here for us is going to be strong and also very positive outlook for now and in the future.
Correct. And if you'd like to reach us for any questions or assistance, 1-800-FL-CLOSE. And John is available again 24/7, and you'll get his hotline, especially VIP realtors. We appreciate your business and anyone working with us. We're happy to assist you in the closing process and help any clients directly as well. And as far as some marketing tools, we have the live and the virtual opens and tours, also digital A1 targeted marketing is available as well in group format. And just be in touch with us. We would love to help you with your success. And we look forward to hearing from you. And stay safe and healthy. And thank you for joining us from BOW, Brokers, Opens, and Tours Worldwide, and Florida Closing and Escrow. And I'm Cindy Mirapole, 786-457-6832, and here to help you with your success. Thank you for joining us. And again, congrats, big congrats to John Iowano in the top 50 attorneys in America. Very well deserved.
Thank you.
See you next time.